Hello and welcome to Dose with Grace. I hope you're doing well and taking very good care of yourself. We are in the series of Bhagwat Gita chapters and we have finished chapter 3 in our last video. So, all those who are visiting this channel, Dose with Grace, to learn more and go into the next chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I would recommend that please first go through the chapter 3 so you understand that the context of the chapter 4 and fully understand and absorb the meaning behind this wonderful teachings that are coming in this chapter, because it's a very important chapter. Just as the previous chapter was about karma yoga, this is the chapter which tells us the connection between the gyan, the knowledge, and karma. So, which, like in last chapter, Krishna was asked by Arjun that if knowledge is everything, then why are you asking me to do such a tedious and such a full of violence work? Like, why are you asking me to do this when I can rather take the path of quiet knowledge and understanding? So, this chapter is you have to go through that chapter to know the answer of Krishna, and then you can come to this chapter and we will discuss about this chapter is called Divya Gyan, divine knowledge. It is also called as Dharma and Gyan and Dharma, Gyan or Karma ka Sar. Okay, so this chapter has 42 shlokas. From 1 to 18 shlokas is about God's effect, His existence, and the topic of Nishkam Karma Yoga explained again in a different context. From shloka 19 to 23 is about who is a yogi, what are the qualities of a yogi, and what is the conduct, what is the nature, what is the behavior of the people who have understood greatness, have really self-realized themselves. And from shloka 24 to 32 is different types of yagyas and its benefits. And from shloka 33 to 42 is about understanding the significance of true knowledge into living our lives. So, starting with the prayers to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, let's start with the divine, blissful, and very powerful mantras chanting. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you for joining back. So let's start with the chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. In the chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, the last shloka was in which Krishna says that our mind, our buddhi, our intelligence is powerful, but more powerful than that is our soul, the knowledge and in the understanding of soul. So at that point he told him to control your mind, control your senses, and to fully understand the purpose of your existence and the purpose of your this action. According to your duty, you get up and fight. So in the 4th chapter, it is the continuation of Sri Krishna speaking to Arjun. Before I begin the 4th chapter, I would like to emphasize on today is also called Somvari Masya, It is Monday, so it is the day of Shivji Maharaj, Shiva. Today is also the day, as you read it, what is Somvari Masya? It's about Snan, Dan, or Shraddha, which, so obviously we all take bath in our day. So Gyan, Dan can be of any type. Dan can be food, grains, clothes, whatever the person needs, whatever is their need, and it should be according to the right requirement. I mean, if that we will do in chapter 14th when we talk about the three gunas of Prakriti. So Dan should be sattvic. Mostly it can be in the form of food, grains, or some clothing someone needs, or knowledge. So having taken care of others, I thought what could be a better day than today to do the next chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that let's do it together, enjoy this learning, and ज्ञान बांटने से ही बढ़ता है और अपने तक सीमित रखने से ख़त्म हो जाता है. So it is good to distribute as much knowledge, because it is, you are just a medium. As you receive it, it is our duty to also transfer it on. So let's read it, understand it, and try to contemplate on the chapter 4 with all our love and devotion. So the chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita is called Divine Knowledge, Divya Gyan. Basically giving an understanding between Gyan, the true absolute knowledge, and karma, our actions in life. So in the beginning, beginning of this chapter, Sri Krishna tells Arjun that he has before also given this knowledge to mankind. He first gave this knowledge to Surya, Lord, the Surya, the sun god, and through Surya, the sun god gave this knowledge to Manu, the first human, and then Ishwaku, who gave to his own son Ishwaku, and Ishwaku, through Ishwaku, many Raj Rishis, that means many in the disciplic succession, all the gurus and the rishis of the next successor received this knowledge from them. However, as the time passes, like I said, knowledge only grows or continues when you give it. Today, if someone has a great knowledge and they just keep it to themselves, with their death, because we are perishable, today we are here, tomorrow we may not be, and as we perish, with us the knowledge will perish too. So it is important to carry forward the knowledge, just like we carry forward our houses, our belongings. More important is to carry forward this very important knowledge, because this helps us live life, and this helps us give the right direction and the right kind of sense and anchor to our life. So, but Arjuna is just perplexed like us. So when Krishna says that I have given this knowledge to the sun god, Arjuna is just like us. He is asking, but you are existing right now, Shri Krishna, and sun has been in existence since long. How could you give this knowledge to sun god then? Because you probably weren't even born at that time. So Krishna says, we have had many lifetimes. You may not remember them, but I remember every lifetime that I have taken a material form. So whenever dharma is harmed, and whenever adharma is to be eradicated, then I take avatar. So through this one shloka, what we understand is the continuation of Atma in different life forms. And it is very clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that we don't have only one life. So the whole thing of YOLO, you only live once, is not true. You carry forward your karmas into your next life, and therefore it is important for us to have this knowledge of our scriptures and knowledge of what is our dharma, because we may escape it in this life, and we may do certain actions which may be personally very gratifying or immediate gratification is there, but in long run we will be suffering. Just like many people, when they say they are suffering for no reason, they are not suffering for no reason, they are suffering because of their own karmas. And if you really look at the people who were much simpler and less complicated in old times, maybe in your own families you would have heard, when women used to have some problems, they would say, ye mere hi karam hai, this is my karma coming in front of me. They were wise enough, they had so much wisdom to know that they have no one to blame for what is happening in their life. They have to do what they need to do to make changes, more positive effects to come into their life, and therefore it is their own duty that matters, their own efforts that matter at all times. Even in the past, whatever they had done, it was their duty to do the right actions. And today, if they are suffering because of that, only way to come out of that suffering is to only do the right karma. And how to do right karma is a knowledge that we get through our scriptures, which is very well layered through our Vedas, which are very, very, very beautiful descriptions, and they tell us in each and every possible aspect of our life what is the right action, what is the right duty according to our nature. So here Krishna says, I have taken many lifetimes. You may not remember it, but just because he is God himself, he remembers. And he says that I take care of my devotees. Well, just to understand it in a more practical way, you will see even within a family, you will see if there is too much of disbalance of power happens, too much of disbalance of sense of what is right and wrong happens, not power but sense of right and wrong. If too much wrong is happening in a family, you will always see there is someone who takes birth in a family who tries to balance out that power. We see it in films, we see it because films are mostly reflection of what is happening in our society. We see it in life, in our day-to-day life. So we can expand it to a bigger thing like community. If in community there is too much of one kind of thing is becoming prevalent, you will see another person rising in community who's having a different kind of mindset and balances out the community in a different way, so that there is a balance created. But in certain circumstances, some people become so powerful and so full of pride and ego that they just cannot allow the power or balance to be maintained. So in such extreme cases, Krishna says, in every yoga I take avatar in a material form of a human being and come to eradicate that adharma, the wrongdoing that is happening, and to establish the dharma. So Krishna says, when we are able to free ourselves from attachments, fear, and anger, and fully immerse ourselves in the knowledge of now, like what is my duty, what is my action, what is it, am I doing my actions according to my right kind sense of duty, that is called as, even in today's world, living in moksha. These may sound like very these may sound like very big concepts to understand, but if you really apply it in your day-to-day life, you will see that they are very applicable, very practical, and absolutely they are the ones, the way it is said, it actually it is so true. There is no deviation to what has been written. The intent with which we take God's name, God blesses us with the same. In the next shloka, Krishna says, the way we pray to God, this is the same way God reciprocates. For example, if we pray to God to receive some positive results, so there are some people who will pray to certain devatas who are the personifications of God. For example, Rama, Krishna, Durga Ma, Shiva. They will achieve success through their prayers in those areas, through those gods. So, prayers, rituals, all of these do yield results. However, whoever prays directly to God without any prayers of achievement, they get God. So it is actually very beautifully even explained in Bhagwatam, that he says that I will say it in Hindi first and then I'll explain it in English, because a lot is lost in translation. So Krishna, even in Bhagwatam, Srimad Bhagwatam, it is said that जो मुझको भजते हैं वो मुझको पाते हैं, जो मुझको भजकर जिस चीज़ को पाना चाहते हैं वो उसको पाते हैं. So sometimes when we those people who pray and do the rituals and do lot of dan punya and all that to receive punya, to get what they want, they in fact get trapped into it, because every time you are not doing your prayers or doing your rituals in perfection, there is some mistake that is being done, and part of that mistake is having that desire to get some fruits. Because the best form of prayer is when you don't ask anything, you just thank God for whatever He has given you, and rather thank God for giving you the right sense of knowledge and direction to do the right efforts in life, no matter what the situation will be, no matter whether the fruits will come or not. So giving still that sthirta of mind, asking God for that, that is the true prayer. So Sri Krishna says in next sloka that he has himself designed this whole human community into 4 groups according to their qualities that they have and the actions they aspire to do. It is not based on their birth. So within a family of, so these 4 communities or the 4 groups are Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So Brahmans have a certain qualities and there are certain actions that that are ascribed to them. Kshatriyas have a certain inherent qualities and there are certain actions that they are very prone towards. Similarly, Vaishyas have certain inherent qualities or gunas, and there are certain actions they are more prone towards. And same is for Shudras; they have a certain inherent quality in them, and they are inclined towards those kind of actions. So, based on how you feel, how your qualities are as a person, and what kind of actions you indulge in, you can divide yourself into either of these 4 different groups, and each group contributes to the purpose of life. Now, the qualities are very well laid out in the further chapters, and more so in Srimad Bhagwatam also. In the 7th canto, there is clearly the qualities of all these 4 classes, the Varnas, has been explained. So it is not necessary, it is nowhere written in Bhagavad Gita that all this discrimination of caste that happens, the Jativad and all that happens, that because you belong to a certain person's son, just because someone is a Brahman son doesn't become a Brahman. What if that child is very much into making money and making and doing a lot of trade and is expert in that, then that person is more of a Shudra, a Vaishya, rather than a Brahmin. A Brahmin is more indulgent towards learning about God and teaching about God. So basically, seers, philosophers, teachers, and those who are able to contemplate on higher knowledge and share that higher knowledge with full heart and full devotion towards God are Brahmins. They guide towards more and more love towards God. Kshatriyas are very powerful. They are the protectors. They are the caretakers. So most of the kings are Kshatriyas. So they are the ones who take care of people, and they design different methods to take care of their physical well-being, take care of their material well-being, and they are the ones who at times even wage wars to protect their territory. So they are full of passion, and they have a lot of rajas quality in them. Vaishyas are very intelligent. They are very much into trading, making money, um, creating more wealth, and generating revenues, and distributing uh, or circulating wealth is their main forte. And they are generally and they also indulge in a lot of ritualistic prayers, and because that gives them a lot of wealth benefits. So they are also having a bit of rajas qualities in them, and most of them will do a lot of prayers for their material well-being and prosperity. And then comes the class of Shudras, who are excellent in serving people. They love to serve people. They have so much satisfaction and so much talent in making others feel at ease and be of great service to them. And those qualities are reflected in the way they do their jobs, and even the menial jobs, but do it with so much of love and devotion, and are able to serve people around them. So these are the qualities of different groups, and each one of them is not by birth. It is not. It could be that a son of a king could be a Brahmin, and in nature and in their actions, and it's not just in nature, but they have to put it in action too. So if even if someone has a nature of learning so much, but they're indulged in only trading and making money, then their actions and their inherent quality is a mismatch. So there, so that is why there is a dissatisfaction in life. So this is what is said in the shloka of chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, that doing your karma without laziness. In the next shloka, Krishna says that doing your karma according to your gunas, all the four gunas that are said before, and without having attachment or desire for its results, is praying to God, is the true prayer to God. Praying to God, to asking Him to bless you with things. So mostly when we say, God, please get my this work done, it is actually not right to say that as a prayer, because when we say that, we are expecting all the time a positive result. Now, if you really look at in life, if you look at anyone in life, nobody only gets positive results from life or the results that they desire. Positive is, nobody asks for actually negative results. So I'm just saying positive results. So here in this shloka, it is emphasized that doing what is Nishkam Karma Yoga. It is very, very important, because Nishkam Karma Yoga has been coming into explanation by Sri Krishna in chapter 2, chapter 3, now chapter 4. It's like almost so many 18 shlokas are almost dedicated towards understanding of Nishkam Karma Yoga. So it's highly, highly important that he's making Arjun understand that, and therefore through Arjun we all can understand that why is it important to understand the importance of not attaching the need or desire for success or a positive outcome every time we start putting effort into something. We are always taught that, but clearly in Bhagavad Gita it is repeatedly told that Nishkam Karma Yoga Sarvashreshth hai. Nishkam Karma Yoga is the greatest. That is the only way to live a happy, satisfied, a contented, and a blissful life. Any other way to live is going to ultimately lead in suffering. If you go back to previous chapters, you will clearly understand what I'm saying. So, coming back to this particular shloka, Krishna says that it is very possible to achieve even moksha in this life. And what is moksha? Is to do our duty through Nishkam Karma Yoga. Is to do our duty completely with great enthusiasm, with great earnestness, but without attaching ourselves to the desire of the results and the outcome that our limited understanding and knowledge is telling us to have. So he said in next shloka, those who got moksha in the past did the same. Nishkam Karma Yoga was the only way they could achieve. So it is not that it is impossible to achieve moksha in this life. It is not only Buddha who achieved moksha or nirvana. There are many in our past, if you go back to our scriptures, who lived, or probably they may not be very highlighted because they don't want to be highlighted. But if you dig up our literature, you will be able to find that there are people, and Krishna says there have been people in the past who followed this and they have lived a blissful life of moksha in their living during their life itself. So we may think these are very unattainable concepts. They are not. Times may change, but the truth doesn't change. So truth is whatever was valid then is valid even today. Now Krishna is explaining what is karma. So one is, he's explaining three things here in next shloka. What is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma. Now what is karma? Karma is action. We think karma is action, and karma, according to our duty, according to our dharma, is called as the right karma. It is the sakam karma. Nishkam karma yoga, nishkam karma is where we don't attach any desire to its end result or its fruits. But a karma is when the doer is not the one who's doing. So how does that happen? So one who sees karma in akarma in karma. So Krishna explains, one who sees a karma in karma, non-doing of self in the action being done by self. So for example, I am a mother, I have children. It is my duty to be available to them, to be a support system to them. It is my duty to fulfill them with all the love and nourishment, to give them the support at times when they feel low, when maybe others are putting them down, to make them feel worthy of themselves, to give them the right guidance at times, to even scold them maybe at times. That is my duty. But if I don't see that I am doing it, but doing it, and I see a non-doing of myself in that duty, in a way that this is a duty that I have to perform. I am not the doer. I am the one who has been assigned as their mother, and therefore I do this duty for them. So I don't take any credit for it, I don't attach any pride in it, and I don't become egoistic about what a great person I am. That is a karma. So similarly, anyone who's doing the job or the duty that they are prescribed to do, and those who do not attach their own self into the doing and don't feel any sense of self pride in doing their duty, then they see a karma, a non-doing in their own doing. So here again clearly in this shloka Krishna says, doing your duty as per this knowledge, without any desire or without any sankalp. So mostly we say, okay, whenever we do a duty, whenever we are doing something, always have an end goal in mind. And this is being taught to us in all motivational videos, in all the places. If you look at the right way to motivate someone, they think the right way to motivate someone is to tell them, keep the end goal in mind. No. Know that everything that you're doing, first of all, that action that you're doing, correct yourself. Are you doing the right action in the first place? What is the intention behind it? Is the intention behind to know your constitutional position in doing it? For example, if you're a student preparing for your exam, it's your duty. You have to be someone who has to be loyal, be honest, and faithful to their education. So they have to study well. The end goal could be that I want to achieve great marks. But that end goal may or may not be achieved. But if your duty is completely without any deviation, if every day you remind yourself, this is my duty as a student to study very well, is to be very honest with my studies, is to be very dutiful, is to be very disciplined, good results may or may not come, but it is very likely that you will go much ahead than those who always keep end goal in mind. So doing our duty as per our prescribed dharma, which is for fulfilling our responsibility and then forgetting about it, that is where we see a karma in karma. One who works like this with no attachment towards the result and in the full knowledge of supreme existence, watching everything, every action, every thought, such a pure person, even while doing everything, doesn't really do anything. They are just believing themselves to be just a medium, an instrument through which their responsibilities are being delivered. Now, what is yogi's condition? What is a developed yogi's condition? So in next few shlokas, Krishna explains what is a yogi and what is their condition. The person who's called yogi are called, first of all, their one very big trait is they are desireless. They have understood the true understanding of what is Tattva Gyan, and therefore they are out of the loop of desires, which are anyway never ending, but they can keep us deviated from our duty, because as soon as desires are not met, they are definitely bound to cause a sense of lowness, a sense of deviation to achieve a better results in another line, and which is quicker, faster, may not be correct, but still. So this is how trajectory of life can take us into doing some wrong karmas. So first condition of a yogi who's developed his a highly developed yogi is that they are desireless. The desires give rise to feelings or emotions, which gives rise to wants and needs, and which can keep us in that loop of prison of just fulfilling those wants and needs. One who's satisfied with what they have received. So they are not having any specific desires. So they just do their responsibilities very well. So whatever comes as a result of their actions, they are satisfied with what they receive. Do not feel jealous of seeing others, their achievements, their accomplishments, or their path of life, and who is same, which is even what Ram said, sadharan. Sadharan means sameness in sad or happy times, and such person in failure and accomplishments also remains the same, is a true karm yogi. And such a person, what is that person achieving? That person is not bound by the actions. They are not bound by their karma. Why? Because first of all, any action they did, they are not desiring any specific results. 2, they are satisfied with whatever results came. 3, they don't look at others and compare themselves or feel jealousy towards others' achievements, or sadness towards someone not achieving, because they know that just like them, the others are achieving what they are meant to achieve. They remain same in their success or in their failure. They remain same in sadness or in happiness. Such a person is not bound by their karma. A karma yogi has a complete control over their desires and attachment. Such person has no sense of pride on their achievements. For example, their looks, their physical health, how great they are in shape or anything, their good health, their position in society, their good stature in the society, their uh, wealth maybe, their possessions, their family, their children, all this. Anything can make you feel deluded. If someone says, oh, you have such a great family, and you start feeling, okay, I am the one who did it, I am the one who has been such a great person, that I have that to that I created it. So that sense of ego doesn't come in them. They don't allow attractions, likings, or emotions to rule them, or rather come in the way of their duties. They stay in the truth and the knowledge, and they do their duty as yajna. So, as I explained in the previous chapter, yajna is the offering to a god, offering to Brahman, offering towards the Supreme. So, they do their own duties in this, with this frame of mind, with this frame of ekagrata. They do their duty, and this duty is the yajna. It's tough, Krishna says, but it's not impossible to be a karma yogi. All parts of yajna are God, the doer, the thing that is being done. So if we see God in everything, if we see God in having that thought process, if we see God in having that kind of intentions, if we see God in having that kind of delivery of action, if we see God in having the kind of results that we receive, that is when we become, we truly understand karma as yajna. Just like when we put anything in fire, that the the quality of whatever we put in fire doesn't remain anymore. Its chemical constitution changes to ash. Everything becomes burnt in fire. Similarly, all these things, your personal desires, your sense of personal likings, your sense of achievements, your sense or your love and emotion towards certain people, all vanishes in the fire of true knowledge. So here in next um, shloka, Krishna says, best way to manage your mind is through knowledge. If you really look at it, let me give an example. For example, when we are, let's say we are in a state of mind when we are feeling that something that we wanted and it has not been achieved, and we are feeling very low that day. So, if someone has practiced going to reading our scriptures and has gained knowledge of the scriptures and now knows that the knowledge of Atma, the Atma Gyan that we learned in chapter 2, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, sooner or later that knowledge will surface up when we are sitting alone in contemplation, and that knowledge will slowly start removing the darkness of that delusion that we are in, that oh my god, today was a bad day, I didn't get what I wanted. When we are reminded of this, that I didn't get what I wanted is the cause of my suffering. What I didn't get is not the cause of my suffering. This thought process is the cause of my suffering. And regardless of what has happened as a result, right now, what is my duty? My duty is to do the right action. So see how knowledge takes us out of delusion. It can take us out of lower frequencies. In our practical life also, we see all the counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists are in best business today, because most of us are having this delusion of why me, why me. and they are doing nothing but just sitting with us and listening to our why me, and then slowly elevating our thought process to little higher frequency of it's okay, acceptance, and then through acceptance comes the little, so slightly they're increasing our knowledge. And same we can get if we have the true knowledge, which is an eternal knowledge, which doesn't change with time, which in fact guides, which has been our um, navigation. If we navigate through this knowledge, this is the GPS that can take us out of all this whirlpool of ignorance and the suffering that we go through, mental suffering, and that can lead to even physical suffering. So, this is how yogis come out of their mind tricks or the wanderings, by delving into this true knowledge. That is why you see it is recommended that every day learn something, whatever scriptures you believe in. If you are, what like in previous chapter also I said, whichever religion you believe in, whatever guru you follow, do not follow the guru, do not just keep their pictures and pray to them. Rather, whoever you follow, if you really listen to what they are saying, all scriptures of the world say only one thing. So follow the learnings, not the people, the learnings. And all learnings are the Gyan, Brahma Gyan. And if we follow those learnings, we are actually directly connected to God. Like I said in the previous chapter, there was one shloka that said that all the Vedas are basically written, are told by God. They are created by God. And when we follow those Vedas, we are living with God. So then that is when we uplift, we feel suddenly so good, we feel so more motivated, so positive, and so happy and fulfilled and blissful in our lives. Everyone is fighting a different battle, and therefore everyone's yajna, everyone's offering, everyone's way of reaching God is different. Some will be doing it according to their own nature, some will be doing it according to the influence of their gunas, but everyone is doing it in their own way. So after performing, Shri Krishna says that after performing yajna and taking its amrit, living in this world becomes true bliss. So it is almost like when you do a good job at your office, when you do a good, satisfactory performance, don't you feel so amazing? You feel so good. Whether or not the results will come later, whatever, but just performing your tasks so well has given an immense sense of satisfaction. So that is the satisfaction one gets. That is the satisfaction, is the amrit, which makes our life blissful. Whereas those who don't perform their duties according to their dharma, they are never satisfied in life. So that kind of dissatisfaction that they have in life is the actually cause of their suffering. Sometimes that could be cause of the stress. Sometimes that could be cause of bad relationships. So deep down, it is when we don't perform our rightful duties, that is where we have made the error, and that error is showing in the form of results that probably we have bad relations, probably we have a sense of loss of worth, or maybe dissatisfaction in our mind, in our hearts, and then we are not able to do our next duty because we are demotivated. Whereas if we want to come out of that cycle, is to just do our duties well, forget about the results, go to the next duty and perform it with happiness. Now after this, Shri Krishna explains that there are different yajnas in our scriptures. There are different form of yajnas, and different form of yajnas explained by Krishna also. For example, controlling our mind and senses is one form of yajna. Praying to gods through proper rituals and ceremonies is one form of yajna. Controlling our breath and doing different form of pranayams is another form of yajna. But he calls the best form of yajna is Gyan Yajna, which is to gain knowledge, to get the true understanding of our true purpose of existence by reading our scriptures, learning about our duties, and performing our duties in this world in the way that we are meant to. We all do our jobs, we raise our family, we become old, and the cycle of life continues. We are born, we are raised, we start studying, we go to a better place, go to a better college, institution, we try to get a job, we get married, we raise a family, and then obviously with time we accomplish things, we accumulate things, we become old, and then we leave everything into this world, and then we start the cycle again. What is the need for that? Why do we do this again and again and again? To understand this gyan is called tattva gyan. To understand this whole essence of why we need to come back again, what compels us, what makes us do this again and again. It's not easy, and there are many things that we face, many sufferings that happen, many people have a very very difficult life, yet why they take birth again? To again all over live another life. Understanding this, and Krishna says that if we don't have the ability to read texts and understand it, then go to a person who's very well read in these texts, who has the tattva gyan, and ask them, give them your devotion, give them your humility. With humility sit and ask them these questions, and then be open to receive and learn from them, through so that this knowledge can continue from the people who have to those who are still not having it or are finding it difficult to understand, so that their life can also be uplifted, so that their life also gets evolved. Anyone who can get Tattva Gyan, and Krishna says that anyone, there is no difference in people. Anyone who desires, anyone who has a curiosity to learn, will be able to get this knowledge. It is not very difficult. It is just that we have to have pursuit of it. Just we have to have a curiosity to ask questions, to learn, just like Arjuna is. Just like Arjuna. If we are like Arjuna, we'll also be able to. And Arjuna is just like us. He was also bewildered. He was also worried. He was also confused. But he wanted to learn. This just his curiosity to ask and learn is where he found, or he truly understood from Krishna, the Tattva Gyan. And anyone, Krishna says, is capable of getting that Tattva Gyan and to make their life absolutely blissful while they are existing and living in this world. Knowledge purifies everyone, and curiosity is extremely important for knowledge. So is devotion. So, hey Krishna, hey Arjuna, Krishna says, anyone who has devotion and curiosity has an ability to learn and grow and elevate their life. So, just as an example, why we need to have this knowledge. Imagine if there is an exam tomorrow and you have fully prepared and fully understood and read your course many times over, and you have full knowledge of your course. Imagine you sit and for the exam, and generally we dread exams. We think examination, we don't know what will be. But if you have fully read every single part of your syllabus and nicely understood everything, then when you sit for exam and you see that all the questions that are there in the exams are totally known to you, and you sit down and write one answer after the other with full knowledge, and nicely you answer, you explain, you make a diagram, don't you think this whole process of answering question and going through an exam becomes such a blissful experience? Knowing answers is not enough. You also have to write it down. So we do the action, but having the knowledge, knowing the answers, makes it so much pleasurable to write them. Then examination is nothing to fear. It becomes a beautiful activity in which whatever we had learned, we just deliver it there. We just consider ourselves to be an instrument to transfer that knowledge, knowing that that knowledge is coming from those books that I've read, from the teachers that have taught me. So, not attaching a personal word. It's a very, very beautiful example to sum up this chapter, that um, this true absolute knowledge gives us a sense of bliss, living our life with devotion in the right way, doing our duties beautifully, just like when you know all the answers to the question in an exam, and all the answers that you have learned through different books, different teachers, to be able to deliver them there beautifully is a joy experience of taking an examination. Having the right power of discretion and having the right sense of direction in life is so precious, and that comes through knowledge. Person who's having no sense of discretion between what is right and wrong is directionlessly moving in life. Imagine how difficult is life for that person. They are creating their own self misery. This is the difference of doing karma with gyan and doing karma without gyan. So, Krishna says once again to Arjun in the last shloka, remove, Arjun, all your darkness of ignorance through this knowledge of Tattva Gyan, and with this true knowledge, get up, do your duty, and dedicate all your actions to God without desiring any outcomes or results, and then you will be free from either success or failure. That will be the right way to get up and fight this battle. So I hope you all really enjoyed this chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. It is a very, very, very beautiful chapter that gives us a clear understanding of how we can make our lives so simply free of burden, stress, and unnecessary overload of information, and too many analysis and paralysis of mind. We can simply delve in this knowledge that our job is to only understand what is our right duty and to just deliver our duties without bothering about results, dedicating all our duties to the great God, and living in this happy, satisfied life with whatever we receive. Because that is the right way to do your yajna, and through yajna, we all can reach God even while living in our practical life. I hope this is as well received by you as much as joy I got in delivering this chapter. I hope you have received as much joy in receiving it. Today is a very, very pious day, and I wish you all Somvari Amavasya all of you, and hope you enjoy this sharing and learning with your family and friends, and contemplate on this beautiful chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is the divine knowledge. And we'll come back soon. I can't wait to come back to you with the chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita in my next video. So until then, let's close this video with these two wonderful and powerful, blissful Mahamantras. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.